Great North Woods to the Rock Mount Coast and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Hello everyone. Today on Good Morning Maine, a house in St. Albans was destroyed by fire Wednesday afternoon. We'll bring you to the scene coming up.
Plus, Maine's Attorney General is suing the Postal Service over a new mail-in voting rule.
And a beloved seafood restaurant in the Mid-Coast has announced their closure. We'll have more on that as well.
Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Janessa Bishop.
And I'm Craig Colson. Thank you for joining us this morning. We'll have those stories and more coming up. But first, to check with that forecast, and it's looking like after a nice, beautiful, sunny day.
It was nice yesterday.
It was nice,
yeah.
Huh? Very nice. Looks like we'll see more clouds today. We'll see some sunshine to start things off, and then more clouds as the day rolls along. Should stay dry, though.
Not too bad.
Yeah.
We'll turn things over to meteorologist Devin Biggs.
And thank you very much, Craig and Janessa. Happy Thursday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Quality Automotive and Brewer. Experience the Quality Automotive difference. Reliable service and expert care that you can depend on. Call us to schedule your next appointment. 922-2043. Alrighty, let's get into things this morning. Some areas of dense fog developing. Not enough to prompt any advisories, but if you're near Bar Harbor or even in Washington County, you may notice some areas of dense fog, so make sure to keep that in mind as you do travel this morning. But meanwhile, definitely nice and quiet, high pressure, continuing to keep things pretty peaceful for now, but we are watching some clouds off to the south and west, and we are going to be watching for gusty winds today that will reach up to about 30 miles per hour at times as an area low pressure tracks in from the south and west, and with high pressure nearby and the two close together, that's what's going to cause the gusty winds to reach up to about 30 miles per hour today. So clouds passing through today, some precipitation starting up tonight, and we'll get a little bit more in here as we head towards your Friday. Alrighty, your hourly forecast as we get pushing forward today. Of course, temperatures warming up into the upper 70s to lower 80s. The winds increasing as well. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Craig and Janessa.
All right, thank you, Devin. We'll see you a little later on. Well, first this morning, a structure fire destroyed a home in St. Albans on Wednesday afternoon. The fire drew a large mutual aid response. Our Callie Warren shares more.
Upon arrival, crews found fire showing from the first and second floor.
The two-story structure at 71 Denbo Road in St. Albans was decimated by a fire Wednesday afternoon. Nobody was injured in the incident, but the heavy fire conditions, combined with hot weather, made a stressful situation for rural volunteer fire departments.
So we're short-staffed. On a good day, there's almost 10 fire departments here working together to put this out. So the heat of the day also causes stress, so it makes it so we can't reuse or rehab the firefighters as quickly and put them back to work.
It took crews about 2 hours to knock the fire down to only hot spots. The Maine Fire Marshal's office is investigating the incident. In St. Albans, Callie Warren, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
And we're told no one was home at the time of the fire and there are no injuries reported. Well, meanwhile, a young child in LaGrange was seriously injured yesterday when they were run over by a car. The Penobscot County Sheriff's Office says it was just before 4 o'clock Wednesday afternoon. A call came in for a 3-year-old child that was run over by a car operated by a family member at a residence in LaGrange. Dispatch was also told that the child was already being rushed to the hospital by a family member. A Maine State Fire Marshal intercepted that vehicle and took the child and the family member to a waiting ambulance. The child eventually landed at Northern Light EMMC and is now being treated for those serious injuries. The accident is under investigation, but the Sheriff's Office says no further information will be released at this time.
A judge has revoked bail for a repeat trespassing suspect following back-to-back arrests in Bangor and Brewer. Police warn they are seeing a spike in attempted break-ins and repeat offenders. Our Grace Blanchard has more.
A woman is back behind bars just days after her first arrest for an alleged home break-in. Brewer police arrested 55-year-old Darcel Howard Tuesday after she allegedly forced her way into a local home and was found drinking coffee. During an arraignment on Wednesday, a judge approved a request by the state to revoke Howard's bail, as this marks her second trespassing arrest in less than a week.
The concerning part with this, with Ms. Howard, is that this is perhaps one of the most dangerous situations that you can imagine when you enter into somebody's dwelling.
Brewer Public Safety Director Chris Martin says there have been 8 separate incidents of break-ins or attempted break-ins between Bangor, Brewer, and Holden in the month of August.
Somebody's going to get hurt if this doesn't get stopped. It could be her, it could be somebody else, but this is a very dangerous, concerning behavior.
Martin argues that bail reform, packed hospitals, and severe court delays are feeding a vicious cycle of repeat offenses.
When someone like this commits a crime, it's like, this person's on 8 sets of bail, why are they out? And that's a great question, but there's a lot of factors at play.
Deputy District Attorney Chelsea Lynn says the county is in dire need of more state support.
Everyone is doing their best to make use of the resources that we have, but the bottom line is we need more resources.
If we can fix the system or get the system to be more accountable, then we'll have better outcomes and it'll make for a safer community.
In Brewer, Grace Blanchard, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
In other news this morning, Maine's Attorney General is suing the Postal Service. AG Aaron Fry has joined a coalition of 25 states in filing the lawsuit to challenge the new rule that grants the Postal Service the authority to regulate mail-in voting during elections. A statement from the AG's office says tens of millions of voters across the country rely on mail-in ballots, and the coalition argues the Postal Service's rule will prevent states from effectively administering their mail-in voting programs, putting voters at risk of being disenfranchised. AG Fry said, quote, "This is not hard. The Constitution does not trust the executive branch with the responsibility of facilitating elections, and this new rule, this election interference, must be stopped."
Well, meanwhile, the Mills administration is speaking out regarding the crisis PCHC is facing and the threat to care access for system patients. A spokesperson for that administration said, quote, "The Mills administration is saddened that Penobscot Community Healthcare is in this challenging financial position, which is likely to be made worse by an upcoming federal funding cliff for federally qualified health centers and impacts from President Trump's so-called Big Beautiful Bill." PCHC provides critical care to thousands of people across eastern Maine, and the administration will remain in communication with the organization's leaders as they move through this challenging period, end quote.
After more than a year without a contract, thousands of Maine state workers are one step closer to a new deal. The Maine Service Employees Association has reached a tentative agreement with the state, but that contract still has to be ratified by union members. Our Alex Schley has more on what held up the negotiations and what comes next.
The Maine Service Association represents thousands of state workers, from road crews and emergency communications specialists to science and human service caseworkers. All of them have been working under lapsed contracts.
And what we ended up coming to was 4.5% and a $2,000 bonus.
The union says the path to that agreement was anything but quick.
We did try to start this process back in December of 2024 is when we filed our demand to bargain. Then there was some hurdles that we went through, including the state wanted to dictate how big our team was. That got us to the table pretty late because they filed a PPC about that. We didn't get to the table until early June of 2025.
Union representatives, on the other hand, were also holding firm that employees needed more compensation.
The wages for state workers have not kept pace with their counterparts in the private sector, but also in public sector positions across New England.
After 11 negotiation sessions, the two sides were unable to reach an agreement, and the state declared an impasse, triggering the assistance of an independent neutral panel.
One of the initial counters from the state was 4.5% in the 1250, but the dates were also different. So that would have been effective in December of 2026. And our most recent one that we came to a tentative agreement on is effective in September.
With the tentative deal now in front of union members, officials say they hope to have a final vote in the coming weeks. Alex Schley reporting for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
In other news, the tariff conflict between the United States and Canada continues to escalate. In response to the United States imposing 50% tariffs on Canada, the country's finance minister announced that they intended to match the Trump administration's tariffs, quote, dollar for dollar, rate for rate, with tariffs ranging from 15% and 25% to 50%. If Canada's counter tariffs go into effect September 8th, it'll focus on exports such as dairy, steel, agricultural equipment, and more. We spoke with the University of Maine senior business lecturer who told us that he expects the two sides to return to the negotiating table because he believes imposing tariffs at this current scale only causes instability. He also says it's possible Maine industries could find a resurgence if they can no longer rely on Canada.
Some people will look at it as a devastating moment for the economy. Some economists and business people will see it as an opportunity to pivot.
Canada's tariffs on U.S. imports would total nearly $20 billion.
Well, meanwhile, Maine's 3 gubernatorial candidates are speaking out as a resolution between the U.S. and Canada remains uncertain. Our Doug Banks spoke with them and has the story.
Trade talks between the United States and Canada came to a screeching halt over the weekend. Canada's finance minister announced days later retaliatory tariffs on U.S. goods, spanning numerous products and totaling nearly $20 billion of annual United States imports. On Wednesday, Maine's 3 gubernatorial candidates reacted to the ongoing trade conflict.
We've gotten ourselves in a place where it's going to be very difficult in today's world for the political leaders to talk themselves off the ledge.
We get nowhere by failing to talk to our largest trading partner, both Maine's and in many ways the nation's.
Picking a fight with Canada, a great trading partner, is unhelpful for our state's economy.
According to the U.S. Trade Representative Office, Maine exported $1.3 billion in goods to Canada last year, representing 41% of the state's total goods exports. If Canadian tariffs go into effect September 8th, it's anticipated to impact Mainers relying on the neighboring country for trade, their products, and for some, supplying electricity to their homes.
Maine gets the vast majority of our heating fuel, lots of our gasoline from Canada. So this kind of trade war escalation could do much deeper damage to Maine families and our economy.
Escalation is just another reminder, first and foremost, that working people and small businesses usually get stuck paying for political chaos.
It is the most important relationship for Mainers. So I'm all about holding people accountable. And by speaking out, I expect to hold the administration accountable and hope to get them back to the negotiating table.
If elected this November, each candidate expressed a similar desire to strengthen relationships among those on both sides of the border.
My appeal as governor would be you have to get back to the negotiating table.
So as governor, I'd work with other governors. I'd certainly urge our congressional delegation to do more.
I will appoint Maine's ambassador to Canada, a person to actually be our emissary as a state.
Doug Banks reporting for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Well, the time now is 6:13. Coming up next on Good Morning Maine, Senator Susan Collins attended the ceremony at the new Condescade Public Library.
We'll bring you there coming up, but first another look at that forecast. A partly cloudy day ahead today. It will be windy with high temperatures around 80 degrees. Mostly cloudy with a chance of thunderstorms tonight, lows in the mid-60s. Scattered showers and thunderstorms tomorrow, high temps around 79. We'll be right back.
I've hosted a lot of Jeopardy. These 6 don't just know a lot, they know everything.
What is covalent?
What's Scooby-Doo?
What is indubitable?
Every correct response gets them one step closer to becoming a Jeopardy Masters champion.
It feels unreal.
2-week primetime event continues tonight on ABC.
I got hurt in this accident and I need help, but I don't have money to hire a lawyer.
If you've been hurt, we can take your case for free, and you don't owe us a penny unless we win. A free call and a free consultation could set you free from your car accident problems.
I made a free call to Lowry Law, and they got me $400,000. The twos set me free.
I'm your go-to guy.
If you're hurt in an accident, what do you do? Call 222-2222.
Troy Jackson likes to keep it in the family. When Jackson was Senate president, his son was one of the highest paid lobbyists in town. Special interests paid his son, and Jackson changed his positions. Just another dirty politician. SLF PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Winter is flu season, and not only that, but COVID is still with us, as is RSV. Remember, it takes your body about 2 weeks after you get any vaccination to ramp up those antibodies. Now is the time for you and your family to get vaccinated against the flu, COVID, and RSV. Updated vaccines are now available for flu and COVID-19, and depending on your age, active steps you can take to prevent RSV. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist. A message from the Maine CDC, this station, and the Maine Association of Broadcasters.
Utility regulators have selected 2 companies to develop wind power resources in Maine as part of a new clean energy project. The Maine PUC selected Clearway Energy Group to develop wind turbines in Aroostook County. It also selected CMP parent company Avangrid to develop a power line to connect the turbines to the electrical grid. The PUC says it will bring badly needed renewable energy to Maine and will produce more energy during the winter when we need it the most. The construction will also boost economic benefits from the construction itself.
Well, Senator Susan Collins was one of the stakeholders at the trussing ceremony for the brand new Kenduskeag Public Library. She joined town select board members, state lawmakers, and other project supporters for that event. The town's current library building, dated back to 1839, does not have bathrooms or running water and has limited space for visitors. The new library will offer modern facilities and more space for community engagement.
This new and improved Kenduskeag Public Library will build on its core function as a book lender to become a community asset, offering computer access, expanded offerings for children, and a much-needed meeting space for townspeople.
Senator Collins secured $1 million in congressionally directed spending in 2024 to support the construction of the new library. She has also secured more than $16 million in the past 5 years to upgrade 9 libraries across the state.
The Washington County manager has been reinstated. According to the Machias Valley News Observer, Washington County Commissioners David Burns, Courtney Hammond, and Billy Howard voted unanimously to reinstate Renee Gray. Gray filed a federal lawsuit against the county and the 2 commissioners alleging sex discrimination, defamation, and whistleblower retaliation. Her legal team claims she was ousted for cooperating with a state investigation into prior financial mismanagement. According to the paper, Burns stressed the action was taken to comply with a court order while Gray's civil case plays out in court. Gray is expected to return to work immediately.
A well-known place for seafood in the Mid-Coast that's been serving the community for decades has now closed. Rick McLaughlin, the owner of McLaughlin Seafood Shack, posted on Facebook that this past Sunday was the last day for the restaurant in Lincolnville. He cited health concerns and the long hours required to operate as reasons for his decision to retire. He said it's been a privilege to serve his customers for 48 years. They will auction the building in October with the hope that someone will continue to operate a restaurant there. He said there are also other options for that building.
Sad to see that happening. Hopefully they have a great retirement, but
what a great place.
New opportunity for someone else there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The time now is 6:17. After the break, major flash floods in Nepal have devastated the region. We'll bring you the latest coming up.
Plus, the MDI community came together to save a lobsterman in a dire situation. We'll have those stories and more straight ahead on Good Morning Maine.
If you've been injured in a motorcycle wreck, call 855 Iron Law today. Iron Horse Motorcycle Lawyers. We protect our own.
Keep your boat safe, functional, and beautiful with a Shoremaster boat lift from Hammond Lumber Company. Your Hammond sales rep can help you choose the perfect lift for your boat. Shoremaster's exclusive Whisperer winch offers the industry's smoothest and quietest operation. Add speed and convenience with a Shoremaster lift motor. And Shoremaster's modular Infinity design makes it easy to upgrade with accessories when you're ready. Take your boating experience to the next level with a Shoremaster boat lift from Hammond Lumber Company.
Family Feud asks, what were they thinking?
You're at an open casket funeral. You notice the deceased pants were unzipped. What you gonna do? Unzip.
I would write a note.
You want him to read it?
Thinking about fun? Watch Family Feud.
Weekdays at 9 on ABC 7.
MDI community came together to help a lobsterman who nearly lost his life after his boat went down off of the coast of Bass Harbor on Saturday.
Our Sam Miller has the story.
What started out as just another day on the ocean for Captain Daniel Clausen of the FV Never Enough quickly turned into a lobsterman's worst nightmare.
I got to Got's Island Head, I slacked her back and put her in neutral, and when I opened up my cabin, the engine room was already full of water.
After calling out for help and getting into a survival suit, 2 waves hit the boat on its port side and rolled the boat over as it slipped underwater. Clausen spent 15 minutes floating by his boat before he was rescued by 2 fishermen, and the boat was lassoed and dragged to the town dock in Bernard. Half a dozen locals worked through the night to save his vessel, and around 5 a.m., the boat was uprighted and is now out of the water. Clausen says he is beyond grateful for all of the support from the community, saying the dock was full of people ready to help in any way they could.
I bet there was almost 30 people on the dock cheering for me to get her back afloat. I mean, my world was literally turned upside down, but when Tremont showed up, I was feeling very uplifted.
Following the incident, a GoFundMe for Clausen and his family was started and has raised over $40,000 for future repairs. Tremont Harbor Master Tyler Damon highlighted how amazing it is to see the community rally behind one of their own.
It's pride. I mean, that's the only word that you can really think of. I mean, you have to be proud to be a part of this community that comes together and really takes care of someone in distress, really. I mean, it's amazing.
The link to Clausen's GoFundMe can be found at our website at foxbangor.com. In Bass Harbor, Sam Miller, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
So nice to see everybody rallying together to support him.
Thankfully he's all right and got the help he needed in the moment.
Yeah, somebody has his back out there. A lot of people have his back.
Yes. Well, now let's get a full look at our forecast with meteorologist Devin Biggs.
Alrighty, Craig and Janessa, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Quality Automotive and Brewer. Experience the Quality Automotive difference. Reliable service and expert care that you can depend on. Call us to schedule your next appointment. 922-2043. Alrighty, here we go. Some areas of dense fog developing this morning. Not too bad to prompt any advisories, so a very calm morning. Just to make sure to keep the fog in mind as you do make that morning commute, but no issues with regards to the wave heights. We're at around 2 to 3 feet, but overall not looking too bad along the coastline. Anything active, and even then it's relative when I say that, it's at around 4 feet farther out towards sea. But meanwhile, on land, it's not looking too bad either. We are watching some clouds moving in from the southwest and going toward the north and east. High pressure is just northeasty here, but we do have a system that's not too far away. This is it right here. So we have high pressure nearby. We have low pressure not too far away either. And with the two close together, that does mean gusty winds up to around 30 miles per hour today. So we will have clouds passing through today. Later on tonight, a few showers and storms can't be ruled out either. So we will need to monitor that too. And then for your Friday, some more showers and storms scattered in nature will be passing through, and those will start to wrap up as we head towards Friday night, and Saturday looking a lot better. Here's those gusty winds today, reaching up to around 25 to even 30 miles per hour. We'll keep some of those gusty winds going for a while tonight, and then once we head towards your Friday, some more wind to keep an eye on. Let's talk about the dew points. Those will be increasing too with this system approaching. Dew points even up into the low 70s, still maintaining that. Then a sharp decrease with that system passing through. Saturday feeling a lot better. So for today, here we go. Partly cloudy, windy out there. Low 80s for the high, and that south wind getting up to about 30 miles per hour. By tonight, mostly cloudy, a few showers and thunderstorms. Lows in the mid 60s. South wind at around 25 miles per hour. And then for tomorrow, we have upper 70s, scattered showers and some thunderstorms, and that south wind at around 20 miles per hour. Let's check out your extended forecast for your Saturday. A nice one, mostly sunny with highs in the upper 70s. And then upper 70s again for your Sunday with showers and thunderstorms back. And then for your Monday, partly cloudy, some rain showers, highs in the mid 70s.
Your favorite restaurants were half off. It's half off dining from Fox 22 and ABC 7. Go to foxbangor.com, click on half off dining, and start saving now.
The brand new Chung Li Chinese restaurant, located in the Waterville Concourse, offers truly delicious, authentic cooking with the best poo-poo platter in the area. Lunch specials and dinner combinations available for dine-in, takeout, and delivery.
Great restaurants from all over Eastern Maine at half-off dining from Fox 22 and ABC 7.
ABC 7, Fox 22. The place we call home, telling Maine stories wherever you roam. From sunrise shores to forests of pine, hard work, strong hearts, values that shine. From old towns to harbors, back roads to ocean blue. Neighbors helping neighbors in all that we do. Through storms and clear skies, day after day, we're here with the stories that matter in Maine. From mountains to sea, standing strong and true. This is Maine, this is home on ABC 7, Fox 22.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Welcome back, everyone. Now a crucial day in the Lindsay Clancy murder trial. Jurors will begin deliberating the fate of the Massachusetts mother who's accused of killing her 3 children. ABC's Hannah Battah has the details.
This morning, closing arguments are expected in the murder trial of Lindsay Clancy. After weeks of testimony from dueling medical experts, the prosecution has rested its rebuttal case. The final witness, Dr. Gregory Sathoff, pushed back on Clancy's claim that a voice ordered her to kill her 3 children.
Command hallucinations, when they occur, do not propel an individual to automatically obey them. And in fact, many people will engage in behaviors to stop the actions that the voice is claiming.
But the defense argues Clancy was in the grip of severe postpartum psychosis and had been vocal about her mental state.
She was complaining not just to her physicians, but she was complaining to people in her community that she was having intrusive thoughts.
Jurors could get the case later today and will decide whether Clancy is not guilty by reason of insanity.
The jury would have to accept that at the time in which Lindsay Clancy killed her 3 children, not necessarily before, not necessarily after, but at the time when she did it, she did not understand nor have the ability to understand right from wrong or conform her actions to being right.
Jurors could also find her guilty of 1st or 2nd degree murder. Both would carry a life sentence, one with the possibility of parole. A manslaughter verdict could mean 20 years in prison. Hannah Battah, ABC News, New York.
Well, meanwhile, police in Nepal reported at least 162 people were killed after massive flash floods in the border area of Nepal and China swept through communities a day earlier. The catastrophic flash floods left nearly 1,500 people missing, including almost 800 foreigners across Nepal and China's Tibet, authorities said on Thursday. Aerial footage shows the scale of the destruction, vehicles damaged, and stretches of landscape buried by mud. Rescuers in Nepal used helicopters to search for survivors and drop emergency supplies to thousands of people cut off to resources. Police said they expect the death toll to rise and that the disaster was first caused by a landslide.
Well, about 2 weeks before the 25th anniversary of the September 11th attacks, the accused mastermind behind the terrorist attacks will soon face a military trial. ABC's Karen Waugh has that story.
25 years after the terror on September 11th, 2001, a judge has set a trial date for the accused mastermind behind the attack, June 2028. 3 alleged accomplices will also stand trial then. Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, known as KSM, was captured in 2003 and waterboarded in CIA custody. He's been locked up at Guantanamo Bay since. His case endlessly delayed. 18 years later, in 2024, the U.S. government agreed to offer a plea deal that would have spared KSM the death penalty. But some families of 9/11 victims were furious.
The government is failing us.
Other families saw the deal as the best-case scenario to come of this tragedy, like Patrick White, whose cousin was killed on the hijacked flight that crashed in the Pennsylvania field.
I don't believe that the plea agreements were anything other than the best outcome we were ever likely to achieve.
KSM tried to plead guilty back then to avoid execution, but the Pentagon ultimately rejected this. 2 years later, with a trial date set, the death penalty is back on the table. Now, a major question remains: if prosecutors can use what KSM told authorities after years in CIA custody. The defense claims his statements were tainted by torture, likely pressured out through waterboarding. But prosecutors say these statements are crucial evidence. For families of the 3,000 people killed in the attacks, having a trial date is a long-awaited relief. Karen Hua, ABC News, Washington.
Meanwhile, the Trump administration is threatening to tear down the Kennedy Center. The administration says the arts institution is structurally unsound, fundamentally unsafe, and embarrassing to the nation's capital. They said they will have to demolish it if they can't renovate and add the president's name to the building. Lawyers for the Justice Department writing that the building is, quote, dangerously dilapidated. That's despite the fact that Congress already set aside more than $250 million for renovations. Ultimately, changing the name will be up to a judge who's previously ruled that only Congress can alter the name of that building.
New developments in the controversy over license plate tracking cameras being used by police across the country. Now the U.S. Senate is asking questions. Marcus Moore with that story.
This morning, the company behind the cameras watching America's roads is now under investigation by Congress. In a letter to the CEO of Flock Safety, Missouri Senator Hawley accuses the company of building an unprecedented national surveillance network, saying Congress never authorized the network your industry has built. Flock's license plate reader cameras photograph every passing vehicle and enter the information into a database that police can search, no warrant needed. More than 120,000 have been installed in 49 states. No Flock anymore! Triggering protests over privacy. The cameras have been vandalized in many states. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis says the surveillance system is out of control.
At what point are we just going to be free to not have to deal with any of that?
Senator Bernie Sanders saying we cannot allow America to become a surveillance state. Police officers from Georgia to Ohio have also been accused of misusing the technology for personal use. One officer is accused of using the cameras to track her boyfriend's ex-wife more than 30 times. Flock CEO says the company is taking steps to crack down on misuse. He says the cameras are a critical crime-fighting tool.
We helped in over 1 million crimes last year, over 10,000 missing people.
Flock says it will soon respond to Senator Hawley's letter. Meanwhile, a nonprofit has started a database of local governments canceling Flock contracts. Marcus Moore, ABC News, New York.
Well, coming up on the second half of the newscast, bats may hold the key to longevity and potential cancer resistance.
We'll explain straight ahead on Good Morning Maine.
Lakeshore Restaurant in Dexter is open for the season, featuring a wide selection of seafood, lobster, salads, sandwiches, and more. Plus, don't forget to save room for dessert. Dine in or take out at 16 Crockett Road in Dexter. Visit us today.
30 years living in Washington changes someone. I feel like politicians should be working for us, not getting rich from stock trading. But Susan Collins doesn't think so. Susan Collins wants to keep it so that senators can play the stock market, making millions of dollars. While the rest of the state is struggling, it's just wrong. We need to tell Susan Collins to stop the congressional stock trading.
Your internet experience feels different, ultra reliable, lightning fast. With Fidium 100% fiber, everything you do online works exactly like it should.
Night, bud.
Zach, go to bed.
So is cable internet still slowing you down? Enough already. Fiber up to Fidium.
Get a 2 gig plan for only $70 a month plus 1 month free.
Honey, where's the countertop?
I sent it out to the granite shop this morning to be replaced.
Wow.
The quickest turnaround in the business, the Granite Shop in Sedgwick.
Lakeshore Restaurant in Dexter is open for the season, featuring a wide selection of seafood, lobster, salads, sandwiches, and more. Plus, don't forget to save room for dessert. Dine in or take out at 16 Crockett Road in Dexter. Visit us today.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Welcome back to Good Morning Maine. Today is Thursday, August 27th, 2026, and this is also Just Because Day.
National Just Because Day invites us to embrace spontaneity and perform random acts of kindness without need of a reason. The concept has gained traction through various cultural movements over the years while emphasizing spontaneity and giving to others. It encourages us to celebrate the simple joy of doing something without needing a rational explanation. It could just be something whimsical or thoughtful, or even a special gift, or simply calling an old friend.
Why'd you do it?
Just because.
Just because.
I love that.
Yeah, makes you feel good. All right, time for some history. It was on this date in 1776, General George Washington's forces fought the Battle of Long Island during the Revolutionary War. Washington's forces lost the battle and made a narrow escape to Manhattan. In 1883 on this date, the island volcano called Krakatoa erupted with a series of cataclysmic explosions in the Pacific. It caused massive tsunamis, which killed some 36,000 people on Java and Sumatra. It was one of the most powerful volcanic eruptions in recorded history and could be heard 3,000 miles away. Just incredible.
Yeah.
And in 1964, the film Mary Poppins had its world premiere in Los Angeles.
And in 1982, Rickey Henderson of the Oakland A's stole his 119th base of the season. It broke Lou Brook's single-season stolen base record. Henderson would finish the season with a still unmatched 130 stolen bases. In 1990, blues musician Stevie Ray Vaughan and 4 others were killed when a helicopter crashed near Troy, Wisconsin. And lastly, in 2008, Barack Obama was nominated for president during the Democratic National Convention. He became the first Black presidential nominee from a major political party.
All right, for famous birthdays today, they include actor Aaron Paul, who is 47 today, guitarist Alex Lifeson from the band Rush, a really good guitar player, he is 73, and actress Sarah Chalke from the show Scrubs. She is 50 years old today. And happy birthday to you also, if your birthday is today. Sarah Chalke is a very funny lady.
Yes, she is.
Yeah.
We'll turn things right back over to meteorologist Devin Biggs.
And thank you very much, Craig and Janessa. Happy Thursday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Quality Automotive and Brewer. Experience the Quality Automotive difference. Reliable service and expert care that you can depend on. Call us to schedule your next appointment, 922-2043. Alrighty, let's get into things this morning. Some areas of dense fog developing, not enough to prompt any advisories, but if you're near Bar Harbor or even in Washington County, you may notice some areas of dense fog, so make sure to keep that in mind as you do travel this morning. But meanwhile, definitely nice and quiet, high pressure, continuing to keep things pretty peaceful for now, but we are watching some clouds off to the south and west, and we are going to be watching for gusty winds today that will reach up to about 30 miles per hour at times as an area low pressure tracks in from the south and west, and with high pressure nearby and the two close together, that That's what's going to cause the gusty winds to reach up to about 30 miles per hour today. So clouds passing through today, some precipitation starting up tonight, and we'll get a little bit more in here as we head towards your Friday. Already your hourly forecast as we get pushing forward today. Of course, temperatures warming up into the upper 70s to lower 80s. The winds increasing as well. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Craig and Janessa.
Alrighty, thank you, Devin. Well, still to come here this morning, Max Sturm with sports.
Don't go away.
Webb's RV Center has a 4-acre lot with over 75 previously owned campers all on sale, plus another 4 acres of new RVs and motorhomes. Webb's RV will take anything in trade. You can buy a camper anywhere, but be sure to buy your next camper at your local neighbor. A website can't service your RV, but Webb's RV will. And they have the biggest service department in the state of Maine to help you enjoy your RV or motorhome.
So come on down, neighbor. The coffee pot's on and the pencil is sharp.
Here are the facts about Susan Collins and Medicaid. Susan Collins was the deciding vote to advance Donald Trump's Medicaid cuts.
Susan Collins was the deciding vote to advance the bill.
Now, thousands more Mainers are expected to lose their Medicaid coverage. Hospitals and clinics are shutting down, all to give massive tax breaks for billionaires. Look up the facts yourself and tell Susan Collins to stop voting for Trump's health care cuts.
On the pavement, Sunday, October 4th at the Sea Dog on the Bangor waterfront. Register now at purpleirisfoundation.com or scan the QR code. Start a fundraiser, win prizes. Sign up by September 1st and get a free t-shirt. Goodie bags for the first 200 people to register. Cancer survivors sign up for free. Proceeds support those battling cancer in Maine. Pound the Pavement, sponsored by the Sea Dog, Summit America, Peter and Deb Brontis, Eventful Maine, ABC7, and Fox 22.
Half-off deals are waiting for you at foxbangor.com. Click on half-off deals and see how much you can save only at foxbangor.com.
Welcome back in, folks. The Orono boys soccer team came within one overtime goal of their very first state title win last season. This season, they're back out for revenge. One thing this team values is how much each and every one of the players just simply enjoys the opportunity to play the game. Many of them play soccer outside of the fall season, which helps to build some chemistry. And forming that chemistry and strengthening bonds early in the preseason is what head coach Dave Hamel says is key to success ahead of the regular season.
100% chemistry, and we started that this summer. We did a team whitewater rafting trip. We did some overnight tournaments out in Western Maine, so it's a bit about chemistry, and if we can continue to grow that chemistry, the sky's the limit.
I think a really important thing that we need to really focus on early on is getting to know each other. There are a lot of new faces, like freshmen, that we don't know, and so getting to build a relationship with them is really important.
After an incredible season last fall ended in a double overtime loss to Halldale in the Class C state title game, this team is hungry, and that loss is serving as their motivation to get back to the title game again this season.
Anyone who was on that team last year definitely has a chip on their shoulder. We're ready to go back out and be the team that we were last year or even better.
The key definitely is to, show up every day, show up disciplined, show up willing to put in the extra effort, make the extra run, make the extra pass, and really just keep showing up day in and day out.
The Maine field hockey team is back in action and preparing for their 2026 season. They begin with their campaign in what should be the toughest weekend of their season. Two nationally ranked opponents coming up to Orono, first on Friday, number 8 Liberty, and then on Sunday with number 15 UMass. It'll be trial by fire specifically for the sophomore class, as multiple of the 7 returners are looking to fill starting roles.
That's exactly what we were talking about today after, we've had 2 scrimmages so far. We're going into this weekend where we have good competition, and now it's like, all right, like some players have their own goals, for the season of like stepping into bigger roles, and they have the ability to do that, and it's just, helping them get there as we progress.
The Black Bears returned 5 seniors to lead this primarily young group, and they recognize the responsibility they carry on their shoulders, as well as how quickly it feels that the torch has been passed.
I mean, it's crazy. I feel like I looked up to our 5th and 6th years so much when I was younger, and I wanted to be them. And it's just crazy to think that I guess I can be in that role for some of our younger girls.
I mean, this preseason, I catch them people down, you know, a hard day, and I'm just like, I'm right there with you. Like, it never really goes away. You still feel that. 1st year to 4th year, you still feel the pain, the struggle, like all the emotions, trying to come back after a long summer. So I think it's just exciting to be not so far away from them. Like, it was so quick that I can still be there to be like, I'm still going through the same things, and make them feel like they're not alone in that.
Let's head down to Foxborough now, where the Patriots and Christian Gonzalez contract negotiation drama is heating up. In previous press conferences this preseason, Gonzalez has stated he doesn't want to negotiate through the media, thus giving very generic answers when asked about contract talks. But on Tuesday, he gave a little bit more, as animosity is clearly growing, which he stated himself.
I mean, it's frustrating, but I mean, it's, you know, I'm focused on the season. I'm focused on here now and doing what I got to do, and I'm out here to compete and get better. I mean, the office knows how I feel. My team has made it known what I feel, what I'm worth, what we feel, what I'm worth. So the right people know what I'm worth.
Just to clarify, just because there was speculation, was your absence totally injury related, or was it all related to the contract?
Yeah, you know, I'm not going to get into that. I'm out here now, so it is what it is.
Patriots Vice President of Player Personnel Elliott Wolf didn't comment a ton during his media availability on Tuesday, but did confirm that they have an offer on the table that would make Christian Gonzalez the highest paid cornerback in NFL history. That is all the time we have for sports. We'll be right back after the break.
Do you take propane tank?
Anything goes.
How about cardboard?
Anything goes.
How about old rug?
Yeah, anything goes.
So this too?
Furniture removal, basements, garages, attics, hoarder houses. It doesn't matter here at Anything Goes Junk Removal. Anything goes. Well, almost anything.
You don't get to buy the government that you want.
But let's look at what Troy Jackson did, because Troy Jackson likes to keep it in the family. When Jackson was state Senate president, his son was one of the highest paid lobbyists in town. Special interests paid his son, and Jackson changed his positions. Was it a coincidence, or was something corrupt? Troy Jackson is just another dirty politician. SLF PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Be back in a bit. Try not to burn the house down.
Well, guess it's a good thing we got AAA.
Even if the sky is falling, AAA Home and Auto Insurance has you covered. AAA, we're always with you.
Welcome back, everyone. Researchers are considering bats as a possibility key to longevity and also cancer prevention.
Fox News' Ted Linder has more from a professor at Penn State on the findings from a recent study into the flying creatures.
Bats may hold the key to longevity and potentially cancer resistance.
It does come as a surprise to most people that bats are really long-lived and cancer-resistant.
Juan Manuel Vasquez is an assistant professor of biology at Penn State University. His team studied bats and their genetic roots.
In general, when you look across a tree of life, you can always find at least one, probably way more than one animal that has the same risk of some disease as us, but doesn't suffer from it. And then you can use evolution and you can use genomics to kind of ask the question, well, how did it develop? How did nature solve this problem? And how can we apply that to ourselves?
Researchers found a specific set of genes in bats involved in both aging and immunity at the same time, rather than separately.
And so this is kind of like a really interesting finding, because that kind of means you don't have to treat all these different biological challenges as separate problems. You can kind of take this Gordian knot and literally cut right through it by focusing only on genes at the intersection of these things.
He says the gene discovery in bats could do some good for humans, potentially, in the fight against cancer.
We're not just studying genes in the bats that we have no hope of replicating in humans. We're actually talking about the same core set of genes that we can then look at humans and be like, does anyone in human populations have a variant similar to that bat's variant? Or is there a drug on the market that can change the way that these genes are expressed to match what the bat does?
I'm Ted Lindner, Fox News.
Pretty interesting.
It sure is. Well, meanwhile, Chinese robot Chen Chao wins the 100-meter race yet again. Have you seen these videos?
I have.
It's incredible.
It is.
The speedy robot beat its own record set a day earlier during the semifinals. Chen Chao won in 8.64 seconds on the final day of the Olympics-like World Humanoid Robot Games. The robot previously beat Usain Bolt's world record of 9.58 seconds by about 0.94 seconds. Bolt set the record in Germany back in 2009. Beijing Information Science and Technology University received gold and silver in kickboxing, and Beijing City University took home the gold after winning against Qi Dan by unanimous decision.
They're taking them off in stretchers.
Yeah,
Did you see that? They just rammed into the wall.
They break down, and I guess it's easier than carrying them. Just throw them on a stretcher and. Yeah. It's really interesting to see those games. It's also kind of terrifying.
It's a little terrifying.
If you think about what's coming down the road, too.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Well, now here's meteorologist Evan Biggs with our full weather forecast.
Alrighty, Craig and Janessa, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Quality Automotive and Brewer. Experience the Quality Automotive difference. Reliable service and expert care that you can depend on. Call us to schedule your next appointment, 922-2043. Alrighty, here we go. Some areas of dense fog developing this morning. Not too bad to prompt any advisories, so a very calm morning. Just to make sure to keep the fog in mind as you do make that morning commute, but no issues with regards to the wave heights. We're at around 2 to 3 feet, but overall not looking too bad along the coastline. Anything active, and even then it's relative when I say that, it's at around 4 feet farther out towards sea. But meanwhile, on land, it's not looking too bad either. We are watching some clouds moving in from the southwest and going toward the north and east. High pressure is just northeast of here, but we do have a system that's not too far away. This is it right here. So we have high pressure nearby. We have low pressure not too far away either. And with the two close together, that does mean gusty winds up to around 30 miles per hour today. So we will have clouds passing through today. Later on tonight, a few showers and storms can't be ruled out either. So we will need to monitor that too. And then for your Friday, some more showers and storms scattered in nature will be passing through, and those will start to wrap up as we head towards Friday night, and Saturday looking a lot better. Here's those gusty winds today, reaching up to around 25 to even 30 miles per hour. We'll keep some of those gusty winds going for a while tonight, and then once we head towards your Friday, some more wind to keep an eye on. Let's talk about the dew points. Those will be increasing too with this system approaching. Dew points even up into the low 70s, still maintaining that. Then a sharp decrease with that system passing through. Saturday feeling a lot better. So for today, here we go. Partly cloudy, windy out there. Low 80s for the high, and that south wind getting up to about 30 miles per hour. By tonight, mostly cloudy, a few showers and thunderstorms. Lows in the mid 60s. South wind at around 25 miles per hour. And then for tomorrow, we have upper 70s, scattered showers and some thunderstorms, and that south wind at around 20 miles per hour. Let's check out your extended forecast for your Saturday. A nice one, mostly sunny with highs in the upper 70s. And then upper 70s again for your Sunday with showers and thunderstorms back. And then for your Monday, partly cloudy, some rain showers, highs in the mid 70s.
Make this the summer event at Thornton Brothers in Lincoln. Looking for a truck built to go the distance? Drive home a new Ram truck backed by an available 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. Ready for adventure? Check out our selection of new Jeep Gladiators and Wranglers, built for wherever the road or trail takes you. Need room for the whole family? We've got a great selection of new Chrysler Pacifica vans, packed with comfort, versatility, and style. This summer, make the drive, we'll make the deal. Visit Thornton Brothers in Lincoln today.
It looked like another government shutdown that would cut Maine families off the programs they need. But Senator Susan Collins led the fight to keep government open, bridging the divide between Republicans and Democrats, and protecting federal funding and critical family services to help children and mothers in need. Senator Collins' bipartisan leadership makes a difference. Call and tell Senator Collins to keep government working for Maine families.
Imagine stepping onto your brand new deck, enjoying all the benefits of your expanded outdoor living space. Hammond Lumber Company can help turn that vision into reality. Visit any of Hammond's expansive showrooms and explore a world of possibilities. The timeless beauty of wood, the resilience of composite or affordable durable PVC. Railing options from traditional wood to sleek aluminum and contemporary cable railing. On-site consultation and delivery are available. Get started on your new deck when you bring your vision to Hammond Lumber Company.
Let Hellman's Bakery put a smile on your face with their tasty offerings of breads, baked beans, lasagna, tuche and turkey pies, fruit and cream pies, wedding and specialty cakes, pastries, and more. Hillman's, your hometown bakery, Fairfield.
Save money, live better, and have fun doing it? This week on GMA, the answer is yes. From cooking up dinner for 4 for under $10 to taking one trip to Costco and getting 60 meals out of it. This week, we're money maxing for you on GMA.
The manufacturer behind popular cereals such as Lucky Charms and Trix is changing the way it is coloring most of its products. General Mills said on Wednesday it has removed artificial colors from all of its U.S. cereals. The company is now using fruit and vegetable-based dyes and colors derived from spices like turmeric and paprika instead. General Mills says while 90% of its retail products are now free of artificial dyes, while the FDA says approved dyes are safe, some health advocates say the use can cause neurobehavioral problems in children, though the findings have been mixed. Last year, the FDA banned a dye called Red 3 after some studies suggested it caused cancer in lab rats.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, meanwhile, 7 trucks were filled with over 330,000 pounds of tomatoes in the Spanish town of Buell on Tuesday in preparation for the traditional food fight. During the yearly event, attendees throw tomatoes at each other for 1 hour. Organizers say they expect 22,000 visitors from all around the world. Tomatoes used are not for human consumption and are soft enough to avoid injuries when thrown. The first deputy mayor said that the tomato fight originated from a spontaneous bust-up amongst villagers in 1945. The event has drawn a huge international following in the recent years.
I'd love to go to that one of these days.
Epic food fight ever.
Yeah. Have you seen video of the actual food fight before? It's just incredible.
It's pretty crazy.
Spaghetti sauce all over the place.
Yeah. Too funny. Well, that's all the time that we have left for this hour, but you can join us for the second hour of Good Morning Maine. That's next on Fox 22.
And during the third hour, we'll meet our Pet of the Week.
Yes.
So that'll be here before you know it. Thanks for being there, folks. We hope you have a great day.
The Farmer's Table in Corinna brings you outstanding breakfasts, lunches, and dinners made from farm-grown fresh ingredients. Dinner specials are available every day. Enjoy our homemade desserts, and above all, bring your appetite to the Farmer's Table in Corinna.
ABC 7, Fox 22. The place we call home, telling Maine stories wherever you roam. From sunrise shores to forests of pine, hard work, strong hearts, values that shine. From old towns to harbors, back roads to ocean blue. Neighbors helping neighbors in
Farmer's Table in Corinna brings you outstanding breakfasts, lunches, and dinners made from farm-grown fresh ingredients. Dinner specials are available every day. Enjoy our homemade desserts, and above all, bring your appetite to the Farmer's Table in Corinna.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Good morning, America. Search and rescue efforts.
Streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Hello everyone. Today on Good Morning Maine, a house in St. Albans was destroyed by a fire on Wednesday afternoon. We'll bring you the details coming up.
Also, Maine's Attorney General is suing the Postal Service over a new mail-in voting rule.
And a beloved seafood restaurant on the Mid-Coast has announced their closure. We'll have more on that ahead. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Janessa Bishop.
And I'm Craig Colson. Thank you for joining us this morning. We'll have those stories and all the day's news coming up over the next hour. But first, a check of that forecast, and it's looking like a pretty nice day ahead. We'll see a mixture of sun and clouds this morning. Probably some more clouds as the day rolls along, but overall it should be nice.
Not too bad.
Yeah.
We'll turn things over to meteorologist Evan Biggs.
And thank you very much, Craig and Janessa. Happy Thursday, your first weather